"You're not welcome at my wedding," Victoria declared, her perfectly manicured fingers drumming against the marble countertop of our parents' kitchen. "I mean, look at you, Emma. What would my future in-laws think?" I stood there, still holding the handmade wedding card I'd spent weeks creating, feeling like I'd been slapped. My older sister had always been brutal, but this was a new low. "Vicky, that's a bit harsh," our mother interjected weakly, more concerned with maintaining peace than standing up for me. "Harsh?" Victoria laughed, that familiar condescending sound that had haunted my childhood. "Mom, she works from home making crafts." Crafts? Meanwhile, James's family owns half of Boston's luxury hotels. I can't have her embarrassing us with her mediocrity. I was 32, running a successful online craft business that Victoria had always dismissed as a cute little hobby. Never mind that I'd turned my passion for handmade paper goods into a thriving enterprise. To my family, success only counted if it came with a corner office and a prestigious title. The invitation was just a gesture anyway, Victoria continued, examining her fresh gel manicure. "We all know you couldn't afford the gift requirements. I mean, the venue alone is costing us 6 figures, if we can find the perfect one." That was Victoria, always putting a price tag on everything, including family relationships. "I think I'll manage," I said quietly, tucking the handmade invitation back into my bag. The same bag Victoria had sneered at last Christmas, not realizing it was hand-stitched Italian leather, a gift from one of my most prestigious clients. "Oh please," Victoria rolled her eyes. "Your little Etsy shop barely covers your rent. I'm doing you a favor, really, saving you from the embarrassment of not fitting in." Our mother busied herself with rearranging the fruit bowl, her typical response to conflict. Our father was conspicuously absent, probably hiding in his study as usual. Some things never changed. "The Carmichaels are old money," Victoria pressed on, referring to her future in-laws. "They have standards. James's sister had the governor at her wedding." "The governor? We can't have you showing up with your craft store clothes and homemade gifts. It's not that kind of event." I thought about the building I just purchased, the historic Marshall estate that I'd been renovating for the past year, the same estate Victoria had been dreaming about as her perfect wedding venue since we were kids. She'd dragged me there countless times growing up, planning her future fairy tale wedding in elaborate detail. "You're right," I said finally, standing up straighter. "It's not my kind of event at all." Victoria looked surprised, probably expecting me to beg or cry like I used to when we were younger. "Well, good. I'm glad you understand. Though you could try to look a little more upset about missing your only sister's wedding." I grabbed my bag, feeling the weight of the property deed sitting inside, right next to the rejected invitation. "Don't worry about me, Vicky. I'm sure I'll find some way to keep busy that day." "That's your problem, Emma," she called after me as I headed for the door. "No ambition, no vision. While I'm planning the society wedding of the year, you'll probably be hot gluing rhinestones onto paper doilies." If she only knew. The Marshall estate renovations were nearly complete, transforming the historic property into the most exclusive event venue in New England. The waiting list was already 2 years long, filled with names that would make even the Carmichaels take notice. "Good luck finding your perfect venue," I said, unable to resist one small dig. "I hear the really special ones are hard to get." Victoria waved dismissively. "James's family has connections everywhere. We'll find something perfect, something spectacular that will make everyone forget we came from." She gestured vaguely around our parents' upper-middle-class kitchen. "This." As I drove home, her words echoed in my head. Victoria had always been embarrassed by our comfortable but not luxurious upbringing, desperate to climb the social ladder by any means necessary. Her engagement to James Carmichael was her crowning achievement, her ticket to the world she'd always felt she deserved. My phone buzzed with a text from my project manager. "Final inspections passed. The Marshall estate is officially ready for bookings." I smiled, thinking about Victoria's face when she eventually discovered who owned her dream venue. The sister she dismissed as unsuccessful had built something extraordinary while she wasn't looking. The next morning, my mother called, her voice tight with anxiety. "Emma, honey, Victoria's just trying to make a good impression on James's family. You know how important this is to her." "I know, Mom. She's made that very clear. Maybe if you wore something from Neiman Marcus instead of your unique style, and perhaps did something different with your hair." "Mom, I interrupted, watching my team set up for our first venue photo shoot. I have to go. I have an important meeting. At your craft shop? The skepticism in her voice was painful. Something like that, I said, ending the call as the photographer arrived. The Marshall estate gleamed in the morning light, its restored Georgian architecture a testament to months of careful planning and investment. Victoria wasn't the only one with vision. She just never bothered to see mine. 2 weeks later, Victoria burst into our parents' house during Sunday dinner, her face flushed with excitement. We found it, she squealed, waving her phone. The perfect venue. The Marshall estate just started accepting bookings. I nearly choked on my water, but managed to keep my expression neutral. My mother, ever eager to please her eldest daughter, immediately abandoned her roast chicken to examine Victoria's phone. "Oh my, it's beautiful," she gasped, scrolling through the professional photos I'd approved just days ago. "But darling, isn't this place incredibly exclusive? I heard there's a 2-year waiting list." Victoria tossed her hair back, confidence radiating from every pore. "That's why we have the comical name, Mother. James is calling them first thing tomorrow. They'd be crazy to turn us down." Our father finally looked up from his plate. "That place must cost a fortune, Victoria, even with the Carmichaels." "Daddy," Victoria cut him off with a wheedling tone she perfected since childhood. "This is my dream venue, the one I've wanted since I was little. Remember how Emma and I used to play there, before she got, well, you know." Before I got unsuccessful, I thought, taking another bite of dinner. "I've already planned everything," Victoria continued, pulling up more photos. "The ceremony in the restored garden, cocktail hour in the grand hall, reception in the ballroom. It's absolute perfection." "Have you actually contacted them yet?" I asked innocently. Victoria shot me an irritated look. "I told you, James is handling it. His family knows everyone who matters in Boston. I'm sure they'll squeeze us in." I nodded, thinking about the stack of booking requests sitting on my desk, including 3 from genuine aristocracy and a minor European royal. The Carmichael name might open many doors, but they weren't the only players in town. The next day, right on schedule, James called the venue. I listened as my events director, Marion, handled it exactly as we discussed. "I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Carmichael, but we're fully booked for the next 2 years. Even with your family's impressive connections, we simply can't accommodate any new events." Victoria showed up at my apartment that evening, something she hadn't done in years. Her mascara was smudged, a sure sign she'd been crying. "They turned us down," she said without preamble, barging past me into my living room. "The Marshall estate turned down the Carmichaels. Do you have any idea how humiliating that is?" I closed the door slowly. "I'm sorry to hear that." "No, you're not," she snapped, pacing my hardwood floors in her designer heels. "You're probably glad to see me fail. Well, I won't. I'll find someone who knows the owner. Someone has to know who bought that place." "Why is this venue so important?" I asked, genuinely curious. "There are other beautiful places." Victoria whirled on me. "Because it's perfect. Because I've dreamed about it forever. Because," she faltered, showing a rare moment of vulnerability, "because it's the one place that made me feel special when we were kids, before everything became about status and money." For a moment, I saw my sister again, not the social climbing snob she'd become, but the girl who used to hold my hand as we explored the estate's gardens, imagining our future weddings. "The Carmichaels think I'm not good enough," she whispered, sinking onto my couch. "James's mother keeps making these little comments about new money and proper breeding. This venue was supposed to prove I belong in their world." I sat beside her, feeling an unexpected pang of sympathy. "Maybe you don't need to prove anything." She laughed bitterly. "Easy for you to say. You never cared what anyone thought. Running your little business, doing your own thing. Some of us have bigger ambitions." And just like that, my sympathy evaporated. Victoria hadn't come for comfort. She'd come to make herself feel better by putting me down. "You know," I said, standing up, "success comes in many forms. Sometimes the biggest ambitions are the ones nobody sees coming." She frowned, confused by my tone. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing," I replied, opening my door. "Good luck with the venue hunt." As she left, I heard her mutter, "At least you can make me some cute centerpieces, if you're not too busy with your crafts." I smiled, thinking about the meeting I had tomorrow with a celebrity wedding planner interested in making the Marshall Estate their exclusive Boston venue. Sometimes the best revenge is simply waiting for the perfect moment. That night, I received a text from James. My family's willing to pay double the booking fee. Name your price. I forwarded it to Marion with simple instructions. Maintain the party line. No exceptions. The response came minutes later. Not interested in any special arrangements. The Marshall Estate maintains strict booking policies. I could almost hear Victoria's scream of frustration from across town. The revelation came exactly how I'd planned it. 3 weeks before Victoria's wedding, with no dream venue secured, our mother insisted on hosting an emergency family dinner to discuss alternatives. I arrived last, deliberately dressed in a tailored suit from my recent Forbes photo shoot. Victoria barely glanced at me, too busy scrolling through backup venues on her phone. "This is a disaster," she moaned. "Every place James's mother suggests is either booked or under renovation. We've lost deposits, vendors are backing out, and the Carmichaels think we're disorganized." "Maybe I could help," I offered, setting my briefcase on the table. Victoria's laugh was sharp. "Unless you've got a secret connection to the Marshall Estate hidden in your craft supplies, I don't think so." I pulled out a folder, sliding it across the table. "Actually, I do." Our father picked up the folder first, his eyes widening as he read. Mother peered over his shoulder, her hand flying to her mouth. Victoria snatched the papers, her face going from confusion to shock to disbelief. This is impossible," she stammered. "These are property deeds, registration documents, for the Marshall Estate." I nodded, helping myself to some wine. "I bought it last year. Those renovation delays you kept hearing about? That was me, transforming it into New England's most exclusive event venue." The silence was deafening. Victoria's hands trembled as she stared at my signature on the documents. But you make crafts," she whispered. "I run a multi-million-dollar luxury stationery and event design company," I corrected. "Those little crafts," he mocked. "They're sold in high-end boutiques across 3 continents. The Marshall Estate is just my latest venture." Our mother found her voice first. "Why didn't you tell us?" "Would you have believed me?" I asked quietly. "When have any of you ever taken my success seriously?" Victoria's face crumpled. "All this time, you let me humiliate myself. Begging for bookings, offering bribes. Like you let me humiliate myself," I countered. "Banning me from your wedding for not meeting your standards." She had the grace to look ashamed. I was wrong." "Yes, you were." I stood up, smoothing my suit. "The venue is yours if you want it. No charge. Consider it your wedding gift from your unsuccessful sister." "Emma, I don't know what to say." "Say you'll stop measuring success by other people's standards," I suggested. "Say you'll remember that kindness matters more than status. Say you'll be the sister I know you can be, instead of the one the Carmichaels expect." Tears streaked her expensive mascara. "I've been horrible, haven't I?" "Monumentally," I agreed. "But you're still my sister." 2 months later, I watched Victoria walk down the aisle in the Marshall Estate's garden, exactly where she dreamed of as a little girl. The Carmichaels were appropriately impressed, especially after learning the venue's owner was the bride's sister. During the reception, Victoria clanked her glass for attention. "I want to thank someone special," she announced. "My sister Emma, who gave me more than just a venue today. She taught me that success isn't about proving your worth to others. It's about being true to yourself." Later, as we danced together like we used to in these same gardens as children, Victoria squeezed my hand. "I'm sorry I was so blind," she whispered. "Your crafts aren't just crafts. They're art. They're dreams made real. Like this place." I smiled, looking around at my restored estate, at the joy it brought people, at the sister who'd finally seen me clearly. "Better late than never," I said, hugging her close. "Better late than never."